My fellow patriotic, hot-blooded Americans, I have just seen episodes 1 through 7 of season 2. Magnificent. When I first pitched the idea to Jeff Bezos, I told him, cartoon The Boys. He ate it up like how I eat my Big Macs. Truly wonderful stuff. And I know that the season finale will land, much like how I will land a position as president again. And I will win because unlike Grandpa Joe, whose bones are old, brittle, hollow, ancient, I am...
Wow, so that season finale was dog shit, wasn't it?
Oh, wow, just fucking...
Or we're just getting right into it. Never mind.
Yeah, hey guys. Welcome to another episode of the Couch Gambit podcast. We're at 500 subscribers.
Yay.
Yeah, we can get ad revenue maybe if we just keep it PC. We'll never keep it PC.
We're never going to get paid.
So we're not getting paid. We're not getting money out of
We'll
this.
get demonetized before we get 1,000.
Exactly. But who cares about that? You're here for our thoughts on Invincible Season 2. And you know what? It was a great journey.
Yes, it was.
We'll get to that. Let's talk about what we liked. Mikey, do you want to start us off on what we enjoyed?
Man.
Amber died.
What?
Oh, what?
What? I mean, I wish, but no, honestly.
All jokes. By the way, that wasn't a real spoiler, but this is spoilers from now on. I will say some of the good stuff that I really did enjoy is seeing the Viltrumites. You see why Nolan is such a revered dude, because not only is he apparently one of the most powerful Viltrumites, one of their best soldiers, but in one of their fights, he just kind of like karate chops their stomach and just guts spill.
Like the gore is still so fucking just visceral and fucking awesome.
That fight scene was just excellent.
Yes.
And I liked how it forced Mark to stop pulling punches. That was a really cool scene to show, like, okay, he has to break out of his shell.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this just isn't going to work.
But
and he shows to be uncomfortable with it.
Yes.
And that's cool. I like that.
And then the final moments where like he has to like finish the job, he still freezes.
Yeah.
And that almost
perfect
costs him
sense.
his life. And if anything, that might be like the reason why Nolan got fucked in the end.
Yeah.
You know, if Mark keeps pulling his punches where it matters, things like this are going to keep happening to him.
The whole episode with him and Mark, I thought was my favorite episode personally. It's just the fact that they introduced him, and I thought that they were just going to go the over-sympathetic route, where he was just a completely different character and just like a sad guy now. It's like, I have such regret. You can still do that, and there is that element in him, but like you still need to have that, like, there needs to be a hardcore element to Nolan. You can't just do a complete 180, and there is still a hardcore element to Nolan.
Yeah. Well, because he keeps telling Mark that he has to fight like a Viltrumite.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that is what you are. So that's still ingrained into Nolan, though he has like some reservations now. But, you know, he's still, you know, in his core a Viltrumite who, you know, a conqueror, you know, a fighter.
Right.
Another thing that I really liked is when Mark walks up to Nolan, right, his dad, and what I love is this really like small detail when he like closes his hand into a fist. You can see in that frame that Nolan also closes his hand into a fist, right? Like, because he's just ready, because there's so much tension.
Yeah.
And then when Mark walks even closer to him, he goes in for a hug. And I think because Mark, like deep down, like, you know, he misses his dad.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a sweet moment.
It is. But then when he lets go, though, well, again, this is the man that fucking killed the Guardians of the Globe, caused the deaths of hundreds, thousands of people during their scuffle.
Said his mom was a pet.
It said his mom was a pet.
Man.
And then, like, of course, you know, Mark just is distant with him again. Though you can tell that he wants things to be back to normal.
Yeah.
They still don't even play it as a redemption for Omni-Man. They reveal the kid that he's got now. And it's like, what the hell? Like, come on, man. Like, okay, he's still the same guy. Like, he hasn't just like had some off-screen radical change to his personality.
Thank God
you can
for that.
still see he's the same dude. He's just he's kind of losing it a little bit.
Yeah. It's questioning stuff.
Yeah.
Like that sequence midway through with like the fight with the lizard people and like the aliens that were going to invade, like
Holy
that
crap.
single, like in any other show that would be an easy like side plot, but you reminded like in Invincible, these side plots can kill you. It doesn't matter if you're a side character or a main character. These side plots can mess you up horribly. Like one of the side plots in Invincible season 1 where he has to fight a lion with a club. Okay, boring villain 101, but he beats the crap out of him.
Oh my god.
And same with like this episode where freaking Rex got it handed to him.
He got wrecked.
Oh, so fucking Kate's death. So fucking brutal, and just like hammering, like, you know, emphasizing that, like, you know, that characters can die. They should die. That they should die.
Goodness gracious.
And it was a good death. They didn't drag it out. They didn't. I watched it again, and it wasn't over dramatic, and it happened so fast. I mean, it's. I don't know. It showed limitations to her power.
Yep.
It was a good scene, and then just the shock of the other two characters, like. Oh my god! Like it reminded them of their own mortality. Like this is real. This isn't just like a fight until somebody like can't fight anymore. No, it's a fight to the death. And now they're
And then after Kate dies, the chick who shrinks and enlarges, she killed one of the dudes who's not really important. And then she goes in to do kind of that same trick of getting inside the big dude, the brawler kind of body, and trying to enlarge. And at first you see like his body's expanding, and you're like, yes, holy shit, this is awesome. But then it stops. And you're like, and you can hear the bones just crunching. And you see he begins to shrink back into himself. And I'm like, oh my God, he's crushing her.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to normal, and there's like a pop of blood or what from his mouth or whatever. And I'm like, he just fucking killed her. That's why Ant-Man can't do that to Thanos. Oh my God! This explains everything. Yes. And then then it's just Rex versus those two. And what I love is that Rex is a character who cries, bitches, and moans whenever something bad happens. Right? Whenever something annoys him. And despite getting fucking destroyed, injury after injury, he keeps fighting. Okay, doesn't bitch and moan and cry, you know, and give up. He keeps fighting, and he kills one of them. And when it's just him and the big dude left, when he goes in to get the explosion at him, and his hand gets fucking chomped. He loses his fucking hand, but he leaves that explosion in the guy's mouth, and he fucking explodes his head. Oh my God, Rex killing both of them, while getting completely fucking almost like butchered was so cool, because again it shows that, like, well, he's not invincible. You know, but then he gets up, like fucking blood just like streaming out of his fucking noggin.
I actually yelled. It was great,
dude. And then he starts beating the ever living shit out of him, and using his fucking severed hand. Using his severed hand with the bones to fucking strike at him. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Rex is a badass. Rex is honestly, he went from a character I just did not care about from season 1 to like top 5 characters for me in season 2. He's just, what a tremendous amount of growth. I can't believe that Rex went from like just a nothing character to one of the best. Again, such a great, fantastic episode, and like just the fight itself. Really just almost ruined, if not downright ruined, because no one actually died. And it felt like what Rex went through is no longer that impactful. Let's get to the other great character, motherfucking Anissa, Muscle Mommy. When I saw her hand on Amber's neck, in that moment I knew, oh, Mark and Amber are never going to work.
That was so good.
The fear on Amber's face, you could tell that, like, that was the moment where she's like, I don't think I could, like, in using her words, like, I don't think I could live in this world. Like, holy shit, that was awesome. I already figured that was going to happen. And then everything with Anissa, oh my God, the voice acting was good, right? And honestly, like, just trying to negotiate with Mark, you know, instead of just like beating him down immediately. You know, I was like, yeah, she's making points.
It even puts her to the test. It is like, okay,
Yes.
if you really do care about these people, let me save these guys. And when he fails to beat up that monster, she makes one very split decision and splits that freaking sea monster in half.
Which reinforces the idea that humanity cannot take care of itself.
Yeah.
That it needs Viltrumites to look over them, to shepherd them into the proper path.
But then you get the Superman problem of, okay, if one of them goes rogue, what do you do? I mean, that's what they were scrambling to try and figure out.
Yeah.
There was nothing that could be done. And it is really cool, first of all, to hear Cecil say that. But also just the reality of, yeah, she could just mess up Earth. I mean, just like Omni-Man did whenever he goes through the portal and just lets loose and destroys an alien planet in seconds.
Yeah.
But as much as I want to talk about Muscle Mommy for like an hour, the other really good thing about this episode was the breakup between Mark and Amber. I did not like Amber at all in season 1, but in season 2, I like the scene not because they broke up. I mean, yes, that, but I thought it was a very emotional scene. I was not like super sad for her or anything like that.
Sure.
But I understood, and I thought it was a well-written scene.
Very much.
Right?
It's a great scene because they're truthful with each other. And there's a lot of breakup scenes where they're just like, no, it's not you, it's me. And a lot of this like nonsensical bullcrap.
Yeah.
But like you said, the writing could actually support the emotions of the scene. And both of them were being like, look, let's be honest with each other. That freaking chick almost killed me. And she could have done it by blowing in my general direction. I don't live in the same world as you.
It is nice that they made it a clean breakup. I hate manufactured drama. And I'm glad that they didn't do that pretty much through the whole series. Like they had conflict, but it wasn't drama. I appreciated that a lot. But one of my big problems with Amber season 1 was just everything that she said was said with 100% confidence all the time, matter of factly. And now with season 2, at least she started expressing uncertainty and internal conflict and
A human being.
a human being. Yeah, exactly.
Then we get to the season finale.
So, real quick,
What
before we
else?
get into that, I have scoured the internet. Everyone seems to be loving the first half of the season finale episode.
Right.
Which, even though there are some problems that we can point out in that first half is pretty good. There is nobody talking about, that I've seen, the second half.
Which, by the way, includes the writers who release little
Yes,
shorts
includes the
about
writers.
their own episodes, and he literally doesn't talk about the second half of the show.
Yes.
Doesn't talk about it.
Okay, let me tell you guys our experience with the season finale, okay? So this is what happened. We got together late at night, okay? We were pumped, excited. Like, this was better than sex.
Texting about it the whole day, like,
Yes.
I don't know if I can wait to watch this. We were
You texted
so
the chat.
excited.
Yes.
We were trying to not watch the season
Yes.
finale before we got here.
And so we get together, we start watching it, and oh my God, for the most part, we are just in awe. This is wonderful. Their fight, like the last bits of their fight when they're in the desert realm or whatever, when Mark is just fucking lets loose and starts kicking his fucking ass. Dude, guys, that was awesome. And I love how it parallels with how Nolan was beating the other living shit out of him, okay?
Yes.
Where, like Mark in the season finale, Armstrong is also like on his back, like kind of, and just there's a Viltrumite over him just fucking pounding away, okay? Blood flying everywhere, okay? It's a geyser, all right?
He even tries to stop Mark, and Mark pushes his
hand away. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And then with the final impact, okay? Again, just a geyser, okay? It's a constant stream of blood for a moment.
And what a line. I thought you were stronger.
I thought you were stronger.
Oh,
guys.
Man.
And then it kept going.
Yeah, you realize the problem in the moment of like, he just killed his only way out.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a good problem to have to solve. Don't get me wrong. But then the way they solved it.
The way it was solved.
Are you kidding me? Time travel is the best you could come up with? And the dialogue. This was some of the worst dialogue in the show. Talking about, luckily, you've been gone for 20 years, but luckily there were 4 time machines back where we came from. It's like, what?
It was really just a throwaway, like, this is how we're, like, this is the Deus Ex
machina that we're using.
Yeah, straight up. I thought what they were gonna do is because the same kind of portal that Angstrom opened up, it opened up for them as well, and I thought that they were in a dimension where Angstrom had joined Team and portaled them to where Mark was at. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't. They used time travel, which. Again, it doesn't make sense the way they used it. And then Eve.
Oh my God. No.
To ruin every bit of romantic tension that was between those characters is just crazy. It's no longer dramatic irony. There's Mark has all the cards.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, they are going to end up together, and it's not going to feel like a reward.
No, yeah.
She's the perfect person to have a moment with, and that's how you could just preview that romantic tension going forward instead of just straight up spoiling the audience to future events or potential future events. And like, number one, you're from a different universe. You don't even know that's going to happen in this universe. But number two, why would you even say that? If the whole what does this add to this scene? What does this add to the show? In reality, this adds nothing to the show other than the fact...
If anything, it takes away from the show.
It does take away from the show. And to say that Eve is going to fall for Mark, which ruins the story. No. So there's no point to this thing. There's no point to the time travel. There's no point for this to ever really even happen. You could have had 600 creative ways, or just have, what's his name? Angstrom? Just have another version of Angstrom come in. But you just decided the most convoluted way possible out of the situation.
When Mark is beating Angstrom down, okay, you could have added some little bits of scenes where Angstrom, he is trying to teleport out, but he cannot concentrate because he's literally getting his face bashed in, okay? Sure. And then the one moment of reprieve when Mark goes up, winds up his final slam, okay? That's when Angstrom goes to teleport, right? And there could be so much tension because, is Angstrom about to teleport out, right? Is he going to escape the final blow? Whatever. But then the impact happens at the same time as the teleport happens, okay? And you can get this bombastic explosion of animation, okay? Vibrant colors, like the explosion of green from the teleportation, but also the geyser of blood. It's cartoonish, but it's a cartoon, okay?
Quentin Tarantino, hire us.
But, and then, of course, what would add even more is if Debbie, his mom, sees the end result.
Yep.
Right?
Is covered in blood.
And she's covered in viscera, yes.
Yeah.
A scene like that would have added even more to the scene between Debbie and Mark when they were at the hospital together, right?
Yeah.
Because even though Debbie might have been somewhat traumatized by what she saw, that's still her son, and she knows that Mark is not going to go down the same path as as his father.
Right.
As Mark, does the other great scene where he's just flying through the sky, just fucking pissed, sad.
The visuals were amazing on that scene.
Also, cut away the fucking mummy gag.
Yeah, right before that, they introduced the mummy, which, by the way, was introduced as a joke. And if they were going to reintroduce this as another joke, then why do we have to spend like 2 minutes on this thing? This is the finale, and we're spending time on a mummy. That was a gag.
Yeah, well, and in a highly emotional sequence, too. That should have, if you're going to do the mummy gag, do it whenever you're doing all the other gags in the fight between him and Angstrom. That would have been fine.
But I would have. By the way, the gags were good.
The gags were fine. Yeah, the gags were good.
The Spider-Man thing was great.
Oh,
Batman.
But the problem, especially with the mummy, is that they're going, not to interrupt your flow.
No, you're good. I was done.
They're going through all of these scenes where you're watching the time of the episode get shorter and shorter, and you're like, is there anything left? And then it's scene after scene after scene that doesn't matter.
Yes.
We don't care. Dialogue between Monster Girl and Rudy.
Yeah, that was wasted. And
then
Immortal and Kate.
That was
oh my God! How do you ruin that?
That was ridiculous. I mean, why you're gonna the whole character arc, for lack of a better word, that Immortal was going through completely falls flat. The tension with Kate dying and just the realization of anybody could die at any time completely goes out the window.
Now that when we see her die in the future, and if there's any like possibility of like her actually being dead, we're not going to believe it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for this to be a reveal in the first place,
or to be in the finale at all. As something that we truly care about.
Start season 3 with it. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be left on a cliffhanger of is Kate really dead or not. It's out of our minds. What we want is a fight between Viltrumites.
But Rudy and Monster Girl, I didn't need any of that.
Nobody cared.
That works.
I forgot about that.
It works fine in a different episode.
You had a woman make a sandwich for a man. You monsters. You
sexist
patriarchal bigots. Oh my God, I can't even believe you.
You call yourself feminists.
Sorry, I had to get that one in.
Of course, I agree.
The Couch Cam podcast supports feminism.
With that, we will conclude this episode of the Couch Cam podcast. Again, happy 500 subscribers. I hope we don't lose all our subscribers from this episode, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
If you've been searching for a video where they criticize the finale, you found it.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. Bye.
Hey, thanks for checking us out. If you like this and you want to see more of what we got, click on my face. Just do it. You won't be disappointed.